Making Up the Midwest, and this is a video talking about eye kit essentials. Whether you are getting rid of all the clutter in your makeup collection and paring down to the basics, or if you are starting fresh, if you are a noob to the makeup game. This is going to be a video talking about the things that I think, brushes and eyeshadows and eyeliners, all the stuff that I think are essential. I'm going to recommend both drugstore and high-end brands for each category. That way, whether you are looking to build your collection on the cheap or if you have a little bit more money to spend, it's there. It's all there for you. So I hope this helps. Please continue watching. First things first are brushes, and I pared down the eye collection to 4 brushes. 4 is all I think you need, and they are all reasonably priced. The first one is an all-over shadow brush, and it looks like this. It's flat, as you can see. Well, holy can't. If you look down, it's kind of thick. It's not terribly narrow. It's a little bit thick, and this is good for patting shadow all over, well, really all over your eye, whether it's your brow bone, the lid of your eye, if you want to do a little bit under here. It's really good for anything. It's kind of an all-purpose brush. The next brush I recommend is a crease brush, or really what this is, it's just a brush it's pretty thick with a narrow tip, and this is good for getting underneath the eye as well as in the outer crease here. If you want to put a dark color in the outer crease and really smoke out your eye, or underneath as well, like I said before, this is really good for doing that. And it leads me to my next brush, which is the blending brush. This is the tapered angled contour brush, but it's also, the tapered blending brush. It goes by all sorts of names depending on where you buy yours from. But what this kind of brush, with its very thick, has large surface area right there, you can see, and it has an angle so it can really get into your eye crease. It's good for blending out whatever you lay down with this more narrow brush. As you've probably seen me do in many tutorials, I will lay my shadow down with this brush first, right in the outer corner, and then I'll go on with a fluffier or denser brush and blend it out towards the center of my eye. So these really go hand in hand with each other. I find it really hard to blend darker colors with this tiny little tip, so I really enjoy this for getting the shadow all over the eye. And then the last brush is a detailer brush, and that is something that looks a little bit like that. It's just a very fine point and probably synthetic. For all of your uses, you're going to want synthetic brushes because they can go between powder. Well, most importantly, they can be used for liquid, whether it's foundation, concealer, gel products, cream products. You really want something that you can wash and you don't have to worry about getting ruined by a non-powder product. So synthetic is always the way to go in my book. But back to the detailer brush. This little guy is good not only for getting into, say, your inner corner, but you can use it as a lip brush. You can use it as it's a detailer brush. So anything that's really fine, hard to get to, this is your man. Now let's talk about brands. These 3 brushes are from e.l.f. These 2 with the white handles are $1 a piece. This is from their Essentials line, and so they're really reasonably priced. And I've had these for over a year a piece, so they do last long. Now, consistency is sometimes an issue. I've had the ferrules break off and, the glue just doesn't hold, but sometimes you really get good ones. And so if you want to risk the dollar, if you can afford to risk the dollar, I'd recommend it for these because they are pretty good brushes for the cost. The next, this is also an e.l.f. brush, but it is from their Studio line, which is a step up. It's $3, so it's really not much more than the $1, obviously, $2 difference to be exact. And they are definitely of nicer quality. You can see this feels a little bit sturdier. I've never had any issue with glue in these, and the bristles are fine. They're very soft, synthetic, all those good things. And so these 3, again, from e.l.f. The detailer brush is actually from Crown Brush, which is a mid-range brand. If I had to put them in a range, I'd say they're mid-range, only because I couldn't find an e.l.f. detailer brush, although I am nearly positive they make an e.l.f. detailer brush, whether it's in their Essential line or their Studio. If they do, I will link it in the bottom bar because I'm nearly positive they do, so you can also get that relatively inexpensively. But like I said before, this is from Crown Brush, a medium range brand. Now, if you want to spend a little more on your brushes, there are, to me, what are the obvious brands are Sigma and MAC, and I have heard great things about both. I have heard downsides to both, but honestly, I can't give you my opinion on either of them because I don't own any of them. I really have gotten by for as long as I've been obsessed with makeup and beyond with just these $1 brushes and $3 e.l.f. brushes. Oh, which reminds me, another good line to check out is Samantha Chapman. She is here on YouTube as Pixie Woo. She has an amazing line of brushes. Anytime you see me use one of these with like a bronzy orange handle, these are hers, and they are sold at Ulta in the States. and I don't think they get above $20, and that's for a set. You get like 4 or 5 of these brushes for the face kit, and then she has an eye kit. You get 4 or 5 of these in a set for less than $20. Unbelievably reasonable and such great quality, amazing quality. So those are another, I'd put them in the lower, I'd say lower range as far as cost goes. So I highly recommend those as well. All this again will be listed in the bottom bar. Don't worry about it. Don't take notes. You don't have to write it down. It'll all be in the bottom bar if you want to check it out later. Now let's get to shadows. Because we are talking about basics, I'm really going to be covering the neutrals because that is everyone's go-to palette. Everyone is most comfortable with neutrals. I feel like that's a valid assumption on my part. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm going to be giving you a few alternatives for both high-end and drugstore neutral palettes. For the drugstore, I have, and this is well used, my Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette. I believe these run in the $5 to $6 range, and you get a ton of product, and it's good quality product considering the price. And this is your neutral palette. Now this isn't entirely browns. You do have some greens. This is actually kind of a dark olive green, and this is a duochrome, a wonderful duochrome, but these are entirely neutral, and here's a taupe up here. So that is a wonderful neutral palette. If you are looking for color, Wet n Wild also has these in purple, which I don't have, but then here is the blue palette. So even if you are interested in color and you're looking for a go-to palette, they have them. Just check out Wet n Wild at your local drugstore or Walmart, or even Target for that matter. Now for the high-end brand, and I can't imagine anyone will be surprised by this, but I would have to recommend the Naked palette. Yeah? Yeah, are we all in agreement? And remember, they do have the Naked 2, and as far as I can tell, the distinction between the two from reading blogs and YouTube videos, because I don't actually have the Naked 2 myself, is that the Naked 2 is more taupes. This is warmer, and the Naked 2 is more taupey based. Yeah, I think. I'll link to a review. Temptalia has one. So many people have comparison videos that I will link to in the bottom bar if you're interested, since I can't give that to you. But I do recommend at least Naked 1, simply because you have this wide range of colors from golds, browns. These are even like, you have purple undertones here, and a kind of gunmetal gray and a sparkly black. Now obviously there are many neutral palettes floating around out there. NYX has some affordable ones. There are other kind of prestige brands that have a ton of neutral palettes. These are just the two that are my personal staples, and so I thought I'd share them with you. But Lorac has some, and a wide array of them. But because this video is about the essentials, I really pared it down and gave you my basic recommendations. So those are the eyeshadows. Now as for the eyeliner, and what I suggest to do is have both a black and a brown handy. Now if you prefer one or the other, you're like, I will never wear brown, only wear black. If you are the opposite, only wear brown. You need to adjust this to yourself. But what I would recommend for the most versatile but simplest eye makeup collection is to have both a black and a brown eye pencil, so you can do both black and brown looks, clearly. This one is from Physicians Formula, and actually it comes in a trio. So you will not only get a black eyeliner, but you will get, depending on the trio you could get green or purple or brown, or you could actually kill two birds, and one of these trios comes with a black, a brown, and then a third color. So, and I believe those retail for less than 15, maybe more than 10. I'll give you an exact price in the bottom bar, but I can't tell you right now. But they're very reasonable considering you get 3 pencils with quite a bit of product. Look at that. So they do last you for a while. They're not the creamiest thing on the drugstore market, but I do notice they last a very long time, especially on the upper lash line. So that is very nice. Another surprising leader in the cheap eyeliner book is the Sephora brand Flashy Liner Waterproof. I mean, that's what it's called right there. Flashy Liner Waterproof. This is in the brown, but they are so creamy and very waterproof. I've used this on my waterline, and many of you will know, if you are regular viewers, that I have such difficulty keeping things in my waterline, and this actually stayed for a pretty good amount of time. And again, these I think are less than 10 a piece. I'll check on that for you, but I'm nearly positive. So these are another really good cheap alternative. Then I think hands down the best high-end alternative for eyeliners is Urban Decay. They're 24/7 waterproof eyeliners. They are the best. They have the Blackest Black, recently released in Perversion, although they also have Zero, which I guess is less blacker than black, but still black. I don't know. And then they have just a ton of other colors, but they have your basic brown and black, and they are budge-proof. They will not move. They are super creamy. They're great. They're great if you're looking for a higher end liner. So that's that. The last items I want to talk about in your eye collection are the mascaras. My drugstore recommendation are Maybelline's XXL Pro, and these come in many different types, I guess you might call them. This one is volume, so it works on the volume of your lashes. There's also lengthening, there's a curling, and there might even be a fourth one that I am not even aware of. But the gist of them is that there's this primer. See, it labels it 1 just for you. And it's primer like that. It's white. You put that on your lashes and it thickens them. It primes them for then your blacker than black mascara right here. And I've had some of the best results with this stuff ever. It's my favorite drugstore mascara, hands down. My favorite high-end mascara is Benefit's They're Real, and this really is kind of an investment. If I run out of this, I use everything else in my collection until it's like a special occasion or something, because it's a little more than one might want to spend on a mascara, but I'm telling you, it makes my lashes at least feel phenomenal. And I've done a review of this on my blog, but these little spiky things at the end are great for getting these outer lashes, and I swear, I don't care who you are, it's gonna make you look like you have false lashes with the way it makes them wing out and just like, it's nuts. So I highly recommend this despite being a little bit of a splurge. So I hope that was helpful. Remember, if I left anything out, these are not like rules that are written anywhere, set in stone. These are just hard and fast little things that if I were to pare down my entire makeup collection to just the essentials, this is what they would be. So with that in mind, I hope that was helpful. That's the second time I've said that, but it's because I really do, people. Do you understand that? Good. I'm just going to sign off now. So have a good day. Bye.